Alright everybody, welcome back to Conqueror and Commander. Today we're going to be looking at the Devour4Power pre-constructed deck in action. This deck has not been modified or anything like that. If you want to see the complete deck list, go to puremtgo.com. Check out my article series, Conqueror and Commander. My opponents in this game are Kaervek the Merciless, who can hurt you for playing spells but costs a little bit of mana to bring out. He's typically Rakdos control. Phelddagrif, everybody's favorite purple hippo. This Phelddagrif deck is pretty apparent group hug early on, so we'll see that in action. And then Mayael, who has a bunch of fat creatures and wrath spells and stuff like that. My opening hand only has one land, so even though it has Soul Ring, I cannot keep this hand. And I go on to the next hand, which has 4 lands and is much better. It also has the ability to cast Memory Erosion, Buried Alive, and Brawn, all with these lands. Mayael starts things off with Raging Ravine. I draw Fleshbag Marauder. Phelddagrif gets first turn Soul Ring, always a good play. Not a whole lot goes on in these first round. But Phelddagrif does have Forbidden Orchard and Temple Bell, which she automatically uses. Mayael plays Kodama Reach. Fortunately, I don't have a whole lot of early stuff, but I am able to put Brawn in my graveyard right away. Kaervek plays Loxodon Warhammer. And then Phelddagrif just starts handing out the spirit tokens given by Forbidden Orchard and Cultivate. And Veteran Explorer. Mayael comes out to play with Swiftfoot Boots, but he can't equip. So I go ahead and play Fleshbag Marauder just so that I can get some more mana so I can start casting stuff, because I know the Phelddagrif player is going to sacrifice Veteran Explorer. This helps everybody else out as well. I'm fine with that. I do have Grave Pact in my hand now. Oh yeah, and if you see that, like, these aren't the cards, they aren't the commander cards from the precon, basically this deck I ended up building based off the list. I had a lot of the cards already, so I didn't feel like buying the whole deck. Flametongue Kavu comes out and blows up Mayael. And then Lightning Greaves gets on the Kavu, and he attacks Mayael as well. Oh yeah, Tempting Worm. Now, with Tempting Worm, there's the distinct possibility that, like, and he's got the mana to do it too, he could Wrath right after getting everybody's stuff out into play. But since I'm playing the Mimeoplasm as my commander, I don't mind a Wrath, and I don't mind putting a bunch of junk out there. So, the other interesting thing is Phelddagrif doesn't really put anything out there either. So, let's take a look at what's out here now. Gisela, who's a big fast beater. Spearbreaker Behemoth, who will help keep Gisela protected. Nothing but really land here for Phelddagrif. I managed to get out my Extractor Demon and Dreamborn Muse and Grave Pact. Could I have put lands into play? I don't think so. Oh, I should have put a land. Oh no, I had to bounce this land because I put the Dimir Aqueduct into play. That's right. Meanwhile, Kaervek had a pretty good dump. He gets Shieldred out there, Steel Hellkite, Godo, and Yumazawa's Pointy Fork of Doom. So that was pretty good, right? And I was fully expecting a Wrath to come here, but no Wrath did come. Instead, Phelddagrif plays Angus Mackenzie. Shieldred's going to make people start sacrificing stuff. And what I end up doing is I end up focusing most of the Extractor Demon discard on Mayael. Oh yeah, and Memory Erosion is one of those cards that, like, people ignore, but then they realize that all their stuff is going in their graveyard and they get really annoyed by it. So Moldgraf Monstrosity comes out and gets Swiftfoot Boots. And since Monstrosity is out there, and the 2 cards that it pulls back are random, I want to hit Mayael as much as possible because she's already got fat in there like Avacyn and stuff like that. You can't see it. There's no way for me to show you. But Avacyn's in his graveyard, or her graveyard, plus some other stuff. But anyways, she goes directly after the Kaervek player. The Kaervek player could have blocked, but decides not to, which is interesting. So he drops from 40 to 4. I sacrifice my Fleshback Marauder, and that makes everybody else sacrifice a creature. An Extractor Demon starts making people dump stuff in their yard. The Mayael player sacrifices the Moldgraf Monstrosity, which brings Avacyn and Balefire Dragon out into play. Which is too bad. Luckily for me, though, I end up drawing Living Death. So, basically, there's no other real huge fat creatures in anybody's graveyards right now. So, what I want to do is Buried Alive, put some good stuff in my graveyard, and then Living Death. And then anything that comes into play on everybody else's side gets killed by the Grave Pact. So I go ahead and attack Phelddagrif first. Then I Buried Alive, and I end up picking... I remember. I pick Damia because I want the card draw. Avatar of Woe because I want to be able to kill things. And Vorosh because I want a big beater. And then I go ahead and Living Death. And that wipes the board of everything. And then I get to make the Mayael player... And I kind of spread around the triggers on the on my Extractor Demon. Oh yeah, Flame Tongue Kavu comes out and kills my Butcher of Malakir. Basically, nobody's going to be able to keep any other creatures into play. A Veteran Explorer came out and got killed again. Tons of Grave Pact triggers. This seems like a pretty decent, like... Oh yeah, and I sacrificed Brawn to my Fleshback Marauder again, so that all my guys can have trample. Seems like a pretty good position, but obviously somebody's going to Wrath or Damnation. Diabolic Revelation. He has enough mana for Damnation, but he doesn't actually... His Damnation's in his graveyard due to Memory Erosion. So he tutored for Nihil Spellbomb and Bojuka Bog to get rid of my graveyard and Mayael's graveyard. So my guys don't have trample anymore. Return to Dust on my Memory Erosion and the Pointy Fork. And then Hunted Wumpus. I'm the only guy that has a creature, and I put in Sewer Nemesis. Mayael is the one that plays the Wrath. That's right. There's Wrath of God. Soul of the Harvest. And then Mayael comes out and draws him a card. Now, unfortunately, the graveyards aren't as packed. Oh yeah, I get attacked by Mayael. Aren't as packed as they were prior to the graveyards all getting wiped. So I'm not 100% sure if I want to get rid of stuff in the graveyards, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to bring the Mimeoplasm out, but he gets counterspelled. Arcane Denial. At least that's some draw. And then I Factor Fiction right now because I want to get a land in my... I want to make a land drop, essentially. The other two cards I could have got were Muldrifter, Sphagthos, and a Swamp. But I wanted the Oblivion Stone because I want to be able to wipe the board of stuff. I get to draw 2 more cards from the Arcane Denial. There's Mortivore. He's big. Kaervek comes out to play. Sword of Light and Shadow. Now, when I played the Mimeoplasm, one of the cards I wanted to exile was Shieldred that was in Kaervek's graveyard. But now, he's got Sword of Light and Shadow and a Lightning Greaves on Kaervek. He can get Shieldred back into his hand, which is what he does. He attacks Phelddagrif and gains some life, so he goes from 3 life to 6 life. Gets Shieldred up in his hand. Phelddagrif, however, puts the kibosh in that plan by playing Time Reversal. The fixed Time Twister. And then Terminus comes out, putting Kaervek and Mayael on the bottom of their players' libraries. So I still have my commander, and Phelddagrif still has his commander. Explore from the Mayael player. And then a Chroma, big. Wormcoil Engine, big as well. Wormcoil Engine gets Swiftfoot Boots. And I get attacked by a Chroma, and Wormcoil Engine takes out the Kaervek player. I draw Skullbriar. He doesn't help too much right now. I play the Fleshback Marauder so that the Wormcoil Engine gets popped, because I just don't want to deal with that big life linker right now. And then I'll play Skullbriar. I put the Vow that I have on Skullbriar just to make him bigger, and I attack the Phelddagrif player. Right now, I think there's only like 1 or 2 other... There's only 1 decent card in the graveyard, and that's the Wormcoil Engine that's in the Mayael's player's graveyard. But what I really want to do is figure out a way to kill the Acroma so that I can copy the Acroma with my Mimeoplasm. Phelddagrif makes people draw. I get another Sewer Nemesis. Wargate for Hive Mind. Holy cow. And then Vision Skeins, which gets copied a bunch. And then Anvil of Bogarden. Now, Anvil of Bogarden right now looks awesome to me because I don't like my hand at all. But the Mayael player kind of puts the kibosh on that. He attacks me with a Chroma. And then plays Austere Command, destroying all artifacts and enchantments, which gets rid of my Grave Pact, my Vow here on Skullbriar, my Signet, the Hive Mind, and all these draw cards. So that makes me sad. Mike White Shepherd comes out to play. And then he puts Trace of Abundance on his Raging Ravine. He also plays Drum Hunter, which is a nice little bit of card draw. And Behemoth Sledge. So right now Mayael's the #1 threat, obviously. Especially because my hand is crap. I do have Lightning Greaves, though. So first I'm going to play Sewer Nemesis. I end up picking the Phelddagrif to target with a Nemesis because that player's graveyard's bigger. And then I put Vow of Malice on him. And then I play my Lightning Greaves. And I put it on the Sewer Nemesis. I send Skullbriar after the Phelddagrif player and the Sewer Nemesis after the Mayael player. And I discard a land. Phelddagrif plays Wrath of God, which gains his life back that I just got rid of. And then Phelddagrif plays Divine Intervention. Okay, so this is truly a group hug deck whose only purpose is really to draw. Basically, yeah, the game's a draw if the Divine Intervention sticks around. Wow. I don't think I've seen that played more than once. That's the second time I've ever seen it played. Angelic Arbiter comes out, and that kind of screws my plans because, oh yeah, and he gives it Vigilance and Haste. Because I was hoping to copy some fat stuff with the Mimeoplasm and attack with the lightning, equip him with the Lightning Greaves and attack. But right now, he's got a couple of lands he's animating. And he's going to start attacking. So yeah, they both go after the Phelddagrif player to get rid of her. It. So I cast the Mimeoplasm. I make it a copy of a Chroma, and I get rid of something in the graveyard. I don't remember what. I put the Greaves on it, but I can't attack because of the Angelic Arbiter. However, I can still cast Fact or Fiction or Relic Crush during my turn, or my opponent's turn. There's Reap and Sow. So he starts going the land destruction route, and he's going to blow up a couple of my lands. He uses Vesuva to copy a Stirring Wildwood that he played this turn, and then he has Oran Reef to put counters on them. He's just beating me in the mana race is really what's happening here. I play Relic Crush to get rid of the Behemoth Sledge and the Shroud Enchantment over whatever that land was. So I decide, okay, I'm going to attack. I knock him down from 50 to 39. I play a land, and I'm going to Fact or Fiction during his turn. He plays Wrath of God, which kind of blows, but whatever. And then he uses all his animated lands to attack me. I'm at 26 right now, but he's got enough to knock me down to like 12 or something. I Fact or Fiction. It's like Mortivore, Shared Trauma, and Spell Crumple. I thought about keeping the Spell Crumple, but I really wanted the blocker. Or an additional blocker. Shared Trauma does nothing for me right now. There's Damia. So I'm going to do the Mimeoplasm again and turn him into the Wormcoil Engine so I can gain some life. And I get rid of some other creature in his graveyard, I don't remember what. But he Swords to Plowshares it. So at least I did gain a little bit of life there, but not as much as I wanted. I do have enough mana left over to cast Mortivore, but it's only a 6/6 right now. And I don't want to attack because I need blockers. Now he does still have Slayer Stronghold, so even though these are like 4/5s, the Stirring Wildwoods are, he can kill my Mortivore, and I don't have enough mana to regenerate him. So I'd rather just take out the bigger Raging Ravine, even though it means I'm losing my Mortivore. And he ends up pumping one of the Stirring Wildwoods. Then Mayael comes out, he must have drawn her. I play Troll Ascetic as a blocker, and then Signet, then Damia. What I want to do is dump my hand so that I can play Damia and draw some cards. And I do Shared Trauma for 0. I didn't think it was going to help me, and I wanted it out of my hand. He activates Mayael and finds Baneslayer Angel, which is going to help him once again gain mana. I'm sorry, gain life. He gives the Baneslayer Angel haste with Slayer Stronghold. And I block and regenerate with the Troll, and I go down to 1 because I really needed Damia to live. Now, I end up drawing Acidic Slime, Wonder, and Artisan of Kozilek. And so first I want to play Wonder. And then I want to play Acidic Slime. Getting rid of one of Slayer Stronghold. Yeah, the haste issue was a problem. And then I cycled the Tranquil Thicket. Next turn what I want to do is Artisan of Kozilek to get back Fleshbag Marauder. He doesn't attack because he has no way around my Wonder, and Stirring Wildwood is not big enough. Instead what he's going to do is activate Mayael at the end of my turn. So I draw a couple cards. I play Artisan of Kozilek, bringing back the Fleshbag Marauder to sacrifice my Wonder so that all my team can have flying. He ends up activating one of his Stirring Wildwoods and sacrificing it to the Fleshbag Marauder. I put Lightning Greaves on the Artisan, and then I attack for 10. He's willing to sacrifice his lands. He activates Mayael. He gets Sun Titan, which brings back Slayer Stronghold, which kind of sucks for me. He goes down to 36. And then I play a Goyf, just to have another blocker. But it doesn't really matter because he activates Mayael again and finds Nova Blast Worm. And that with Slayer Stronghold means I lose the game. So, you know, if I'd had some additional life gain or something like that, I probably could have done better. The deck did okay in this game. I mean, I had some draw, and I managed to wipe the board once or twice. But, you know, turn 15. Alright guys, thanks.